however they did it, they came into this playoffs with a Stanley Cup caliber roster, and that's something you see happen every year from multiple teams. The Colorado Avalanche seemed like they had a Stanley Cup caliber roster ready, but the difference is this Tampa Bay Lightning squad was firing on all cylinders, and every part of the engine worked exactly as it was supposed to. The forward core was dynamic, great for a lot of goals, an amazing power play throughout. And defensively, they were golden. Shutouts in game 5 against the Habs to close it out, shutouts in every game they closed out this series, all 4 of them. Uh, that not the only shutouts Vasilevsky picked up. They only faced one game where they were at risk of elimination, that game 7 against the Islanders, which is a pretty great run, pretty unchallenged run. And yeah, we saw that pretty well play out over 5 games against the Habs this finals.
Yeah, it's there's obviously you can make the case, and it's something I put in our notes, is that Montreal, no one expected them to be here. And even if the most passionate fans should admit that, this was an incredibly fun and unexpected run that this team has made. But in the end, it's not necessarily anything they did wrong. They played great hockey. It's just Tampa Bay is that much better than every other team in the league because of what we talked about, their ability to accumulate talent. And so Montreal could have some regrets where in the end, at the final stage, you're just missing that elite level of offensive talent, that creation to go alongside your Cole Caulfield, your Nick Suzuki, your Tyler Toffoli, maybe, because just if Philip Deneau is your number one guy, it's great. He's an amazing defensive center, and he should get paid a bunch of money because he's been awesome. But you need someone to drive the play a little bit more. And that's, you'll see like a team like the New York Islanders, who plays a similar style of hockey to Montreal. Matthew Barzal is just better than anyone Montreal has on their roster in terms of creation. And that's really what drives the engine of that team. And that's why they push Tampa to 7. That's, I would say, the closest team in level and just like team cohesiveness to the Lightning. And so in the end, Montreal, like, partially it's going up against the absolute juggernaut that is the Lightning. And part of it's just they ran out of those times when they could shell up and not have the firepower to really go against other teams.
Yeah, what you saw in a lot of games this playoff run for them is Carey Price was able to bail them out of a lot of situations. Their top 4 defensemen were able to step up big and limit those situations many a time. And then they were just able to be absolutely lethal in capitalizing on these really small opportunities that you would see the team they're playing against get and not be able to capitalize on. But it felt like, especially in that Leafs series, every breakaway they got, they almost managed to score. Half chances, like on the red line, just pucks to the net, getting the bounces and playing with a confidence as that situation played out again and again and backed them up that would be okay for them. But the defense of Tampa Bay able to shut the door and give them even fewer opportunities, and Vasilevsky able to cull the lethalness or efficiency they were showing on those opportunities. Price was criticized for not playing amazing. I remember even in game 1, I think Tampa maybe scored 3 or 4 goals that game. It felt like it could have been 6 or 7. I don't think there are any criticisms about the game 5 he played, limiting the Bolts to just 1 goal. And that a goal he could do absolutely nothing about, the puck getting through 2 defenders to find the open man. So yeah, I agree. I think this Montreal Canadiens team, after getting through Vegas, you can't argue that at that moment in time, they were one of the best teams in the league, but this Bolts team was just even better. And at this point, I feel like the only thing left to ask is, can they do it again? Like, is this a dynasty? You look at like the teams that would maybe get that label these past couple of years. The 2 weaker cases would be like the Penguins with their back-to-back, and the LA Kings. I think they won 2 over 5 years. And then the Chicago Blackhawks, probably the strongest case, they won 3 over 5 years, which I think is kind of still the standard. So the Tampa Bay Lightning have 3 years to try and win one more for that same status. But looking at this core they have, like the elite group of forwards, Hedman, Vasilevsky, is it going anywhere? And then able to get veteran guys like McDonough, Savard, guys like Maroon, who are going to come up and play like the checking roles, which are a bit more interchangeable. So if that core stays there, they're still at an age. Stamkos, I think, like the oldest in that level. Like, what do you think? Can they do it again?
Well, first of all, I would say yes to your question. This is a dynasty. In the salary cap era, the amount of parity that exists in this league, if you can win 2 cups in a row, that automatically cements you as a dynasty. It's super, super difficult to do. The NHL is probably the most equal league across the board in terms of teams, and the amount of physical punishment you have to go through. This is especially remarkable because they technically won 2 cups in less than a calendar year. I would definitely grant them the dynasty status. It's really impressive what they've done. In terms of, do I think they can do it again? Well, I already bet on them no this year, and I think I'm going to do it again just simply because last year was unique in a sense where not a lot of teams had a lot of money to spend due to the pandemic. They still don't now, but it was even more so worrisome. But at this point, you would hope that teams realize we're not going to continue to help out this team by not picking up their guys. And so you're going to see teams throwing some money at Blake Coleman, at Pat Maroon, Barclay Goodrow, at Tyler Johnson, at Alex Killorn, Anthony Cirelli, whoever's available, right? The teams are going to be after these guys because they're proven winners and they're great contributors. Like you said, a great core forward depth. And teams are going to try and strip them for parts because you want that winning culture. And it's now these guys have won their cups. They want to go make their money. So I do think there's a high probability that a lot of you guys won't be back. John Cooper even acknowledged in his presser after the game saying that we kind of told the guys this would be our last run together as a group. And so I think they seem pretty at peace with the fact that some of these guys are going to be moving on. And that means that things are going to open up for the other contenders in the league.
For sure. It's a question of how interchangeable are those players and how easy is it to instill that same winning culture, dedication, and style of play into the new group they're going to have to bring inside to complement their core, which I don't think is going anywhere. I haven't checked the salary cap for like Kucherov, Hedman, Stamkos, Point, Palat, if when any of those guys are going, Vasilevsky, of course.